Hi, everyone. I'm Valerie Milano, senior editor of the Hollywood Times and co-producer of Desert Legends. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by the incredible Sweet Baby J, award-winning vocalist, storyteller, activist, and one of our 2026 Desert Legends honorees, and a dear friend of mine. So now on April 4th, I'll have the honor of presenting her award. We will be discussing the extraordinary journey that Sweet Baby J has brought her here. And here she is, Sweet Baby J. So welcome.
Everybody, I'm so glad to be here. Ooh, 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 ooh. I always have fun with you, Valerie. So let's just
Thank you,
have
baby.
fun.
Yes, yay, yay. You and I have shared many moments in the Palm Springs arts community. What makes this community so special for artists like you?
It is, I think it's just special for everyone because we think we live in a slice of paradise. Even though it's as hot as Dickens, it doesn't matter because it is a small village and we all know each other and we all love each other and we have this incredible community and we sort of grew up together, so it makes it even better. You know what I mean? It's like growing up in some little midwestern town, baby.
Yes, and Sweet Baby J Desert Legend celebrates women who change culture through music and community. How did you feel when you learned you were being honored this year?
Well, I tell you, it's really is an honor. And people say that because it's something to say, but the reality is it really is, because when you can get your flowers, like I like to say, while you still can smell them, that's a beautiful thing, as opposed to waiting until you die and then people say, oh, she was just a great girl. But the reality is this: when we can honor one another, when we can honor what we have done for our community, it is a beautiful and blessed thing. And I certainly appreciate the recognition. That's a beautiful thing.
You grew up in Kansas City, surrounded by extraordinary music history.
Yeah.
Your uncle played with Billie Holiday and Lionel Hampton, and your cousin with Dizzy Gillespie, right? So, what were those early influences like for you as a child?
Well, I'll tell you, it just set up who I am today, right? And so when you grow up listening to that, when you grow up at that with that as a part of your backstory, as a part of who you are, that music just becomes who you are without me even knowing it, right? Because I grew up and I was playing with everybody else, the Funkadelics. I was listening to Prince. I was listening to all of that, but that foundation was there for that old 1940s and 50s and 60s music. And so it was just laid. And let me tell you, as a matter of fact, Valerie, I grew up, no, I didn't grow up, but I once lived in Charlie Parker Square on Ella Fitzgerald Lane, because that's what Kansas City is all about, that music. And so we even name our streets after famous musicians.
Gosh, yeah. And I heard you started writing songs at 5 years old. When did you realize that performing and storytelling were truly your calling?
Well, it's just like any little kid, right? When you grow up and you put on plays for your neighbors. That's what you did in the neighborhood, right? You put on little plays, you do this little thing, and I wrote songs because that was in my background. So I wrote songs, and the first song that I wrote that I could remember, and I was singing it, and first of all, it was called "My Man Left Me to Be Free," and I think I was 5 years old. My man left me to be free. And my mother said, what do you know about that? I said, that's not the point. I'm writing a song because I had heard it, obviously, and so ever since then, it's just been a part of who I'm a poet, so it's just about telling a story through words and words that have lyricism behind them. You know what I mean? Stories, put stories and music together, and you come up with this just wonderful, wonderful bag of chips.
People always say that when Sweet Baby J takes the stage, it becomes something bigger than a concert. It becomes an experience. What do you hope audiences feel when they see you perform live?
Well, and that's what I like to give a little of me because, and people do say that about me, and I so appreciate that. I really do. And a lot of things people say is that I didn't know I liked jazz because they associate jazz with Miles Davis turning his back and blowing, right? But the reality is it can be so much fun because there's such an umbrella with jazz. You have blues and rock and funk and groove. It's all under that umbrella. And so it just becomes this joyous thing. And I'm having so much fun that I hope that it sort of goes out into the audience, and I get fed back. So we're just feeding each other and we're having fun together. And that's what I believe people mean by that. You know what I mean? It's just this reciprocal thing that happens with us.
I love that. Your performances do blend jazz, blues, also spoken word and activism. You've built incredible platforms through the Sunset Music and Education Foundation and the Palm Springs Women's Jazz Festival. Why is it so important for you to create opportunities for other artists?
Well, because if you don't do that, what are you doing? I mean, it's basically just the next step in evolution. You have to pass on what you have to the next generation so they can keep that going. Because I didn't learn one thing. If I didn't learn one thing, it was that I'm standing on the shoulders of so many women that came before me, right? And so many musicians that came before me. You learn from those that teach. And particularly with the Sunset Music and Education Foundation, we give instruments to children. You know what, Valerie? I heard it was on the Grammys, not the Grammys, but the Oscars last night or Sunday night. And the guy that won for best music or score was, I think it was for Sinners. And he is a Swedish guy. He's a Swedish guy. You know what he said? He said, when I was 7 years old, my father found the blues. His Swedish father found the blues. Had never been in America, but he loved that music and it resonated with him in his heart. He gave his son a guitar at 7 years old, and that became his life. And it gave him the purpose. It gave him that meaning. And years later, and he's still a young guy, he looks like he's in his 20s, he might be 30, but he's winning Grammys. I mean, not Grammys, but
Oscars, yeah.
well, but Oscars. And it gives kids like when we give a kid an instrument, you see the light in their eyes, their faces light up because it becomes something of their own. And it's not what we do specifically is to give it to the child and not the school program, but to the child itself because it becomes something they own, something that is theirs, something that they can pour their heart and spirit into. And the pathway opens for a brighter future. And when that happens, the universe opens. This is why we do it. This is why it just gives me so much joy to do it.
And we will be continuing to bring that out to our public, to our viewers and our readers, more about your Sunset Music and Education Foundation. So I want you to know that because it's very, very important that people learn more about it. Sweet Baby J. So on another note, your new podcast, Period Dot, takes on politics and culture with honesty and humor. What conversations are you hoping to spark with that show?
It's a fun show. I have to have you on it too. It's
Thank
a
you.
fun show. What's that? But I'll tell you what. So it's politics because it's based in politics through culture, through the eyes of culture and entertainment, right? So we can talk about Donald Trump or we can talk about whomever, Hillary or anybody. We can talk politics, but we can do it through the lens of entertainment and culture. So it's palatable because we have so many talking heads talking at us about this stuff, so much so that you want to just put your foot through the television. But this is about how can we have some fun with it and how can we make it palatable? How can we, tolerate this? We're in a war, right? You can't,
Mhm.
there's no fun in a war. People are dying. But how can we get around that and talk about it in ways that we can do something? Because people feel powerless. And this is where my activism comes in, because I am you or me, we are all in this together. And we have to find a way to get through it. It's just like our parents did. They found a way to get through it. And you have to do something, or you feel stuck and you feel depressed. And what can we do? Even if you just raise your voice. I'll tell you what, for instance, it was what happened in Minneapolis that showed us that when those two, when Alex Peretti and Renee Good were killed, and we felt like there was nothing we can do, those people got out in sub-zero temperatures and marched and used their voices and changed the trajectory of all of that violence that was coming into their cities. And so we can do something. We can raise our voices and use our voices because we have a voice. We still do, and we need to use it while we still can. And that's what Period Dot is all about. What can we do? What can you and I do? You know what I mean? Hey.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Well, we'll be spreading the word about your new podcast, and thank you for that because we need to hear more about it. So desertlegends.net, you got to get your tickets because Jennifer Corday will be performing that evening. Sweet Baby J will be getting her much deserved award. That will be at the Hotel Zoso Fillmore Room. 6:30 the door will be opening, and we have from 7 to 8:30 is will be showtime. And
Oh,
hey, I hear that you might be even gracing us with a song, maybe.
child, things are gonna get easier. Yeah, well, we hope so, right? So let me tell you, this is I love what you guys are doing. I love what Corday is doing. I love what Desert Legend is doing because it's taking so for for many years we this was our spring break. Didn't matter if you were way past college age. This was our spring break, and it still is. And Desert Legends is picking up that whole tradition of bringing the girls in for spring break. And that's how fun is that? Hello, how fun is that? So thank you for continuing that tradition because we can all
Beautiful.
use it. We can all use a little fun right now.
We are. We're going to have a great show live. Sweet Baby J, Jennifer Corday. We got VIP tickets. We got premium tickets. We got general admission on April 4th at the Hotel Zoso Fillmore Room. We're the Hollywood Times dot today, HollywoodTimes.net. The Hollywood Times officials is our YouTube channel. And Sweet Baby J, we are here and we are queer and
Here.
we are going to have some fun.
We're going to have some fun, baby. The queer women are going to have some fun. Or the queer guys, too. If you want to come and hang out, too, that's okay. But let me tell
Absolutely.
you something. We're just going to have some fun. And I thank you so much for presenting me with this award. It's a wonderful, absolute honor to receive it. And it was an important, I think it represented an important time. And I know it's because of my connection to starting this just a branch off of what you're doing, a branch off of bringing women something to the desert. And that's what we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, my love. Mwah. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, sweetie. Bye bye.